Hello, and welcome to the Quest for Games. I'm Jerry, and in this video, I'm going to do a how to play of the 1 to 6 player game Twisted Cryptids by Unstable Games. I just got this as a Kickstarter the other day. There's an unboxing video on my channel if you want to see that. I'm going to do just the base game today, but I may think about in a future video doing the expansion that I got with it, Cryptid Culture, and show off the nostalgic board. But right now, I'm just going to show the base game. There are 3 expansions that came in my base game. I'm not going to do any of those either. As always, this video is not sponsored. It's not an evaluation copy, so all the opinions you hear are mine and mine alone. So let's get this to the table and start to teach. Okay, welcome to the table. I've started to set up some of this stuff, but for setup, you'll get the main board out and set it in an area where everybody can get to it. We have different types of tokens that represent hunters. These with the orange on them are the hunters. We have researchers, which have a spyglass on them, and we have hikers, which have the green boot on them. I set those in these containers, but you can put them any way you want to. There was a player mat that would fit right here that had little spots for them all. That would have been nice, but I didn't do that. I didn't buy back that. You also have these point tokens, which it's 10 on one side and 30 on the other side to help you keep track of victory points. Each person will pick the cryptid they want to play. I'm setting up for a 3-player game. So I have Nessie, the Loveland Frog, and Bigfoot that I'm going to be setting up. You'll each collect your pieces. So you've got a wooden meeple, you've got your tarot-sized cryptid card, and then you've got a stack of 9 sighting cards. And I'll explain what to do with these in a minute. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our meeples and we're going to stack them up at the 5-point spot. So each person will take their meeple and put it at the 5-point spot. We'll have to figure out who's first player. Their suggestion was to the last person in a forest would be or a park would be the first player. Most of the people that I play with, I would have went to the park with them, so that may not be the best way. So maybe roll a dice or whatever, but give that person the first player token because they'll be first player. I shuffled the action cards, the event cards, and the hidden trait cards, and we will give 2 hidden trait cards to each person. So let's talk about one of these hidden traits. This hidden trait says that you are twisted, and it says you're supposed to reveal your real deal. If you reveal 1, you get 6 points. If you've revealed 2, you get 14 points. And if you've revealed all 3, you get 22 points. So that's the one we're choosing to use for Nessie. So we've got 9 sighting cards. And because we picked this one, we want the real deals to be on top. So we're going to set up 3 stacks of cards, and I'm going to put my real deals on the top of each one of those stacks of cards. If we look at this real deal card, you won't understand this until we get doing this, but you -1 for each hiker, -1 for each hunter, and +2 for each researcher is what this real deal will give us. But I'll explain that better as we're playing the game or as we get into the rules. So that's my 3 stacks because I want to reveal my real deals. Now, one other strategy would be I could put all 3 of these in one stack and focus on one of my things, but I'm going to put them in 3 different stacks. And then let's say I put a hoax, a silhouette, and a decoy. And let's see, the silhouette went there, so let's put a silhouette here. Let's put a decoy here and a hoax here. So now I have my 3 piles. When you're figuring out how to play the game, you'll do probably pretty much just what I did. But as you get into the game and understand the strategy a little bit more, you might have wanted to rearrange things to try to attract the right kind of humans to the spaces. Starting from left to right, though, we're putting their hiding tokens 1, 2, and 3. So we'll remember these 3 columns are represented by these 3 hiding tokens. I have set up the other 2 players. So those 2 players are set up. I need to put my humans out to start the base game. This spot says it gets a hiker. This one gets a hiker, hiker, and hiker. You can see the little boot on the board. I have to put a researcher here, a researcher here, a researcher here, and one here. And then I put a hunter here, a hunter, and a hunter. And you'll notice that there are 2 in each one of the spots. And we're finished with setup and we're ready to play. You might think this is the last piece of setup. I guess the rulebook may say that it is, but I kind of consider it that we've started to play the game. The first thing that we do while we're playing the game is we take our first player and they decide they have their hiding spot and they decide where do they want to hide. So remember that this card's looking for hikers. So I'm going to try to put my hiding spot in a spot where there are hikers. So I'm going to go right here in the Crystal River. Then it goes to the player on their left, and the Loveland Frog is going to put theirs up here into Witch Ridge. And Bigfoot, you don't have to use one. You could use, so I'll do it. Bigfoot's going to use the second one. It doesn't really matter which one you put out there first. Bigfoot's going to go to the Crooked Chasm. Now I take the first player token and that gets moved to the Loveland Frog, and we go and do that again. So the Loveland Frog is going to decide to put their second token into the Pine Mill Park. And while I'm doing this, let's talk about some rules. I'm on Bigfoot's turn. Bigfoot couldn't put it into the Crook Chasm because they're already there. So you can't put your token into one that you've already have one in. I can put it here, even though Nessie's already there. It doesn't matter. Bigfoot's going to put it here in Witch Ridge. Even though the Loveland Frog is there, it's okay. You can't have any more than 3 in one of these spots, which in a 3-player game isn't a big deal. But when you get up into a 4-player or a 5-player game, being limited to how many people is in each spot becomes more of a challenge. And so in a 4-player game, you can't have any more than 3 people in any one of the spots. And in a 5 or a 6-player game, you can't have any more than 4 cryptids in the same spot. So now it's Nessie's turn. This time Nessie wants hunters, so Nessie's going to go over here. Now everybody's taken their second turn, so this passes over to Bigfoot, and Bigfoot gets to go first. And you are allowed to look at your cards as often as you want to. You just don't want to show them to anybody. Again, Bigfoot can't go into either of these 2, so Bigfoot's going to go there. Now Nessie's turn. Nessie's going to go here, and Loveland Frog's last turn, and the Loveland Frog's going to go there. So now everybody's out. You're supposed to get 5 of the action cards. So each player has gotten 5 action cards. Okay, so we've put the last one out. I'm supposed to pass first player again. So Nessie is now first player again. We're going to play 5 rounds. In each one of the rounds, there's 4 phases. The 4 phases are the dawn phase, the day phase, the dusk phase, and the night phase. We don't have a nice player aid. I wish I had gotten a player aid, but there is no nice little player aid that tells you this. So for a little while, you might have to refer to the rule book, because if you don't do these phases in the right order, things can get messed up in the game. So the first thing you do is the dawn phase. And in the dawn phase, what you do is you flip over one of these event cards. This event card is the bats are back. And you'll see the first thing it says there is move the hikers 2 spaces clockwise. Then it says extract 2 hunters from the spot that has the most hunters. Then it says attract 2 researchers to the spot that has the most researchers. So while I'm on that, let's talk really quickly about what those mean. We'll have to talk about it again when we're talking about the action cards. So let's talk about it now. The first thing says move to. Well, that's not a word. That move is not something you'll see anywhere else. So let's do that. We can move each one of the hikers 2 spaces. 1, 2, clockwise. I'm keeping this one down here, and you'll see why. This one goes 1, 2, clockwise. This one I just moved there, so he stays here, but this one moves 1, 2, clockwise. Again, he stays. This one I just moved there, so I should have put him on the bottom. This one goes 1, 2, clockwise. So then the other things that you can do is lure, which is move a human from one area to the area where your hiding spot is. Another one is scare, which pushes the human 1 spot away from your hiding space. There's attract, which is what we have for the researchers here. There's extract, which is what we have for the hunters. So the extract means Nessie looks at the hunters and supposed to find the spot that has the most hunters. Well, they all have 1 hunter, so there's not the most hunters. And then Nessie gets to decide which space do they want to extract a hunter from. They look at their cards and they see that this one here says they get minus points for hunters. So that's column 3. So that's this one here. There's no hunters there. So they're okay with that one. This gives them plus 2 hunters. So 2, they want to keep that hunter there. This is another -1 for hunters. So their first doesn't have any hunters in it. So they don't care where they extract these hunters from. So they're going to choose to extract that hunter from there. And then I said attract 2 researchers. So they take 2 researchers. And I know it said 2 hunters, but there weren't 2 hunters in the space. There was only 1. That doesn't mean they go over here and pull another hunter. It's an action from that space. So now Nessie's getting to put 2 researchers somewhere because she's attracting, or Nessie is attracting 2 researchers. So again, this space doesn't like researchers. That's 1. This space doesn't like researchers. This one does. So looking at the cards, we know Nessie likes researchers in spot 3. So she's putting the researchers there. Oh, but it says the fewest. Well, there's only 1, 1, 1, 1, and there's 0 in those 2. So I guess technically, so by looking at the cards, we know Nessie doesn't want researchers here or here because they're negative points. She'd like them here, but there's 1 researcher there, and these 2 spaces have 0. Well, she doesn't want it here, so she's going to put the 2 researchers down there. And that takes care of the event. So that's the dawn phase. And I want to make sure I'm clear about, I only got to extract 1 of the hunters because there was only 1 in the space. I don't go to 2 different spaces. I work on 1 space. If I didn't have enough researchers, I only had 1 left in here, then I would only be able to put out 1 researcher instead of the 2. But I had the 2. Okay. So that's the dawn phase. Now it's the day phase. And during the day phase, each one of the cryptids gets to do 1 of 3 things. They can play an action card from their hand. They can discard an action card to play their power, or they can pass their turn. So let's look at Nessie's hand. She's got to scare 2 researchers away or lure 1 hiker, which would mean pull a hiker into her spot or push 2 researchers away from the spot. Attract the hiker, lure a hunter, strong lure, which means pull researchers in from 2 spaces away, lure hunters from each adjacent site, or attract hunters or lure 2 researchers. So this is an and, so we would be able to do both. This is an or, so we can do one or the other. So let's see. I think we decided for this third card here, she wants to see researchers. So we could use this strong lure to researchers. Strong lure means pull from 2 spaces away. So she could say, Nessie could say, I'm going to strong lure and pull these 2 researchers from this spot around to this spot. So that's what Nessie decided to do. And you'll notice we have 4 cards left. We're going to do 3 actions during this round. So you can tell when you only have 2 left that we've done the 3 actions in the round. So the Loveland Frog likes what's going on here. And the Loveland Frog is going to play an and, lure 1 researcher. So they're going to lure a researcher from here, and lure 1 hiker. So they're going to lure the hiker from over here. One of the things that we're trying to do here is the spot that has the most humans on it and has a hidden token on it is the one that's going to activate that night. So Bigfoot kind of likes what's going on. He's going to attract 1 human. And remember, lure is pull from one of these squares. Attract is pull from the supply. So now everybody's had 1 turn. So Nessie wants to strong lure. Nessie is going to discard this card and use Nessie's power, which is breaching the surface of the water, I'm assuming. That gives her strong lure 1 human and then draw a card. So the strong lure 1 human, she's going to strong lure this human 2 spaces, 1, 2, into this spot. And then she gets to draw a card. So the Loveland Frog is playing attract 1 researcher. Attract means bring them in. So they're bringing a researcher into the same spot. Everybody's piling in on Witch Ridge. And also extract 1 human. The Loveland Frog doesn't want any hunters around. So they're going to extract this hunter because it was an and. And in an and, they can do the first action from 1 square and the second action from a different square. So Bigfoot is attracting 1 hiker. So they're going to attract, Bigfoot is going to attract 1 hiker. So they're going to put a hiker here. And they're going to attract 1 hunter. And they're going to put that hunter there. So Nessie's could lure 2 researchers, but there's no researcher around this one. That is where Nessie wants the researchers. But she can attract 1 hunter to one of her spots. So she's going to attract the hunter here because this is the person that she has that gets the points for hunters. So they're kind of starting to set up for next turn. The Loveland Frog is going to attract 1 hiker to here and then extract 1 human. So they're going to get rid of that hiker. Bigfoot's going to attract 1 human and he's going to put 1 more there. So now each person has taken a turn and each person's taken 3 turns. So we're done with the day phase. Now we go on to the dusk phase. In the dusk phase, an encounter occurs. And so when that encounter occurs, you add up the total number of humans in a space, and that's where the encounter happens. So it's obvious that this is the one that the encounter happened in. So this one's the one that's going to go off because there's the most humans in this space. But if these hiding spots were over here, this spot would not go off because there's no sighting spots in it. When we go look, this one would go off because there's 3 humans and 1 hiding space. No humans, 1 human, 2 humans. So this one would be the one that would go off. But in our case right now, and I was just doing that to make sure we understand a point, this is the one that goes off. So the first thing that happens is Nessie's happens. So Nessie's third card, Nessie would flip over because she's first player. She flips over her card and she gets 2 points for each researcher in the spot, but minus 1 point for each hunter or hiker in the spot. So she gets 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. But then minus 3 because of the 3 hikers. So she's got 13 points total. So we move Nessie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And Nessie gets a 10-point token because she passed 0. But then at the bottom of the card, it says during her next day phase, she needs to pass on her first turn. So Nessie's going to have to pass and not play a card on the first turn. So Loveland Frog, it's their first pile here. The Loveland Frog has 1 point for each researcher, minus a point for each hunter. So the Loveland Frog gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. And they get a 10-point token. No minuses because there's no hunters in the space. The bottom of their card says they're attracting a researcher to the spot. So they're attracting another researcher to this spot. Now it's Bigfoot's turn. Nessie was supposed to take their 3 back and put it on that stack. And the Loveland Frog was supposed to take theirs and put it on their stack. And Bigfoot's going to take their 1 and put it on their stack. And Bigfoot's 1 says they get 1 point. They're doing something's afoot, a silhouette. They get 1 point for each researcher, minus 1 for each hunter. Well, there's no hunters, and we now know there's 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 researchers. So Bigfoot gets 9 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points, and they get their 10-point token also. And this one says attract 1 researcher to the site of the encounter. So another researcher gets attracted. You'll notice I only have 1 researcher left in that thing. So if we have to attract researchers later, it could be a problem. So now if one of your stacks are empty, then that token just goes back into the box. It doesn't go on the top of the pile. And that was the Dusk Phase. So we've done the Dawn Phase, which was the event. We've done the Day Phase, which was play 3 cards apiece. We've done the Dusk Phase, which is figure out where the event happened and show what happened in those hiding spots. And now we're moving on to the Night Phase. So again, Nessie's still first player. So Nessie will take their token and decide where they want to go now. So they would probably be looking at this card, and it says she wants hunters. So Nessie's going to put her token here. Can't go back to here to the Witch Ridge because that's where the event just happened. So can't go back there. Then Loveland Frog would take their turn and decide where they want to go. And the Loveland Frog also wants hunters, so they're going to go to that same spot. Now Bigfoot's going to go. Bigfoot wants researchers, so he's going to go into this spot. Can go into this one because there's one of his tokens there, but he's going into this spot because he thinks he'll be able to lure some of these researchers into this spot. Now each player fills back up to 5 cards. So now Nessie can discard as many cards as they want. So just for now, we're going to have Nessie discard these 2 cards, and then Nessie draws back up to 5. So Nessie now has a hand of 5 cards. the Loveland Frog and Bigfoot will do the same. Now, the first player token moves to the Loveland Frog, and we start over again doing the event. So the first thing that would happen was an event would happen. In the dawn phase, that event would happen. Then we'd go to the day phase, play our cards, go to the dusk phase, do an encounter, and go to night phase and do the same thing we just did. We'll do that 5 times. You'll know you've done it 5 times because there'll be 5 events in this pile. So I'm going to fast forward now so that we can get the final scoring. Okay, so I fast forwarded us to the night phase of the 5th round. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. We're in the night phase, which means we're going to try to figure out what encounter is going to go off. Currently, we have 4 here and 6, 7, 8 here. So this one's the one that's going to go off, which is Bigfoot's 3. So Bigfoot's 3, it's a hoax, off the grid Gary. So he gets +1 for each hiker, -1 for each hunter, and nothing for any researchers. And just so that you understand strategies, when I was doing around here, Bigfoot actually pulled some of these researchers over to make sure this spot went, because he was trying to make sure that spot went, where Nessie was trying to get this spot to go off. So he gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points for that. He lures 1 hiker to the site of the encounter. He can lure this hiker over there. I'm not sure that really matters. He passed, so he gets another 10-pointer. So right now, that's the end. This token would come back, but it doesn't really matter because we've done 5 rounds. So now it's time for us to start doing final scoring. So let's start final scoring for Nessie. Silhouette, hoax, there's a real deal. So she gets 7 points for that real deal. Those are not real deals. So 7 points for that real deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She exposed 2 real deals. Somehow she got a decoy exposed. That wasn't very good playing on my part, I guess. But 14 points is her bonus for having the 2 real deals out there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that gets another 10. So that goes to a 30. 11, 12, 13, 14. And that gives Nessie another 10. So Nessie's at 43 points right now. The Loveland Frog gets points for not revealing decoys and hoaxes. So did she have any decoys or hoaxes out here? A silhouette and a real deal. So the Loveland Frog didn't do any, so she gets 21 points. So there's 20 plus 1 point for her for this. I'm sorry, we should have looked to see how many real deals she had left. Hoax, real deal, real deal. So she's got 2 real deals, 7 points for each one of those. So that's 14 more points. So there's another 10 plus 1, 2, 3, 4. Missed it by 1 point. So Bigfoot has 1, 2, all 3 of his real deals have not been revealed. So that's 21 points. So there's the 20 points right there, plus 1. His thing is, you are friendly. So he wants to have as many humans around his hiding spots as possible. So not having any over here is going to hurt him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So for 8 to 11, he gets 9 more points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gives him another 10. 6, 7, 8, 9. So actually, Bigfoot's at 54 and Bigfoot won. So that's how you do final scoring. You gain 7 myth for each real deal that was not revealed during the game, which makes this one you are twisted kind of weird because you would get 21 if you didn't reveal the 3. So it it only gives you 1 extra point, and you miss the 3 from net. You miss the ones from the reveal, but and then you gain bonus points based on your hidden trait. So I'm really thinking that twisted one did Nessie no good. So let's move on to final thoughts. Okay, final thoughts for Twisted Cryptids. Twisted Cryptids, I guess we'll start talking about build quality. The cards and the card stock are normal cards and normal card stock. They're regular size, so you can sleeve them with a regular card sleeve. The actual cryptid cards are tarot card size. So if you wanted to sleeve those, you could sleeve those in a tarot card size sleeve. There's wooden meeples for each one of the cryptids, and the human tokens and your hiding space token are all wooden tokens, at least in the Kickstarter version that I got. So I would say the build quality is pretty good. The board itself is very interesting, the way that it fan folds out. So build quality, it's good build quality, which is what I'm used to from Unstable Games. There were some other kind of meeples that you could get, but I don't have those. Pros and cons. There is no player aid, so we're referring back to the book, and that may just be because we're new to the game. But I've played the game probably 4 or 5 times now, and we still have to refer back to the book because the different phases. So you do one of these event cards at the beginning of a round, but you've just passed out cards. So the transition from the night phase, where we had to replace these tokens, your hiding token, and got 5 event cards back, and skipping that event has happened to us more than once. Each game, out of the 5 games I think that I've played, it's happened to us twice, where we missed an event and people started playing cards. So some kind of a player aid would help. The book says at the end of setup, you're putting out your hiding tokens, and everybody goes around, one person's first player, everybody goes around and puts out their hiding tokens. And then you move first player. And then everybody goes around and puts out their hiding tokens. And then you move first player. And then everybody goes around and puts out their hiding tokens. Well, we've had a problem in that, that naturally seems to flow into, we do the event, the dawn phase, then we get into the day phase, and we started passing the first player token after every time we played a card. And that got things a little confusing. That's not what you're supposed to do. It's a warning. That's not what you're supposed to do. So we've kind of separated that out and said, okay, we're going to pass that as basically being, we're doing a night phase at the very beginning. I don't know if that helps any or not, but I can tell you there's some confusion right there at the beginning. After we've passed that first player token around to put down your hiding spots the first time, do we keep passing it around every time I take my turn? And you're not supposed to. So probably an us thing, but we had a little bit of problems with that. So those are the cons. Pros. Pro for the game is there is a way to get a deeper kind of strategy, but you can play the game with a surface strategy and still have fun playing the game. So younger players can play the game, participate in the game. They may not win all the time if they have somebody that's really deeply using strategy, but they're having fun. At least I was having fun. But there are some things in there that you can see strategies, like I was trying to show you there with Bigfoot. There was a bunch of hikers on there, and Bigfoot pulled a few researchers on just to make sure that that spot was a spot that was going to have the encounter, because the researchers didn't hurt any, and he really wanted the hikers. Bigfoot really wanted the hikers. So there is some strategy there to say, well, I don't care about these, so I'm pulling them on to make sure that it works. There's also some strategy here that if you want to play a kind of strategy that is prevent somebody else from winning, you can play that strategy too. You see what they're trying to do and you prevent them from being able to do what they're trying to do. So if you're the type of person that's what you like to do, is just play to prevent somebody else from winning, you can do that. So there's a lot of different kinds of strategy, and it's a lot richer than it first appears, in my opinion. Rating. I think it's going to grow on me more. When I first started playing it, my rating was going to be a 7, which I still recommend it, but it wouldn't be a game that I pull out all the time. And the more I've been playing it, I think that might have grown to an 8. So I don't know. I don't normally do halves, but let's call this a 7.5 because it's somewhere between a 7 and an 8. I recommend the game. I think it's a fun game. If you like unstable games, this is right in there, that wheelhouse. It's not really mean spirited, but you can do a little bit of stuff that impacts some other players. Is this game for me? Well, if you like strategy games that kind of have a little bit of area of control, it's not exactly area control, it's more a resource control, but you're trying to pull resources of a certain type, humans of a certain type, to your spot and push things you don't want away from your spot. You have 3 things that you're trying to track. So if you really get into the game and you're trying to track all 3 of yours at the same time, it can get fairly complicated on you. Or you could play a strategy that says, I'm really only focusing on 1 or 2. I personally have actually done that where I'm focusing on 1 or 2 in a round. And if I start to see something go to the third one, I'll figure out what the third one really wants and what do I have to do to adapt to what's going on. But if you like that kind of strategy, I think the game's for you. If you're looking for a card game or you're looking for some kind of a really head-to-head battler, it's not that kind of game. You're not taking points away from anybody per se. You're just keeping them from being able to have their spot go off the way they want their spot to go off. There is a way, if you understand exactly what they're doing, which is going to take a long time to be able to do that. But if you know the cards well enough and you understand exactly what the other person's doing, you might be able to push the right kind of humans to that space that's going to give them negative points. But I think that's a stretch. So if you want something more interactive and more really head-to-head competitive, this is in the middle of the road. It's not that competitive, but it is competitive. It's definitely not a co-op. Okay. I think that's enough for my final thoughts. So keep playing games. I hope you have fun, and I'll see you next time. Bye.